មិនមែនទិញគ្រឿងយកមកដំឡើងមិនមែនចេះតែគុំដាក់ទេពាក្យថាផលិតនៅកម្ពុជា Calypso ផលិតម៉ូតូដែលយកចិត្តទុកដាក់បំផុតនៅក្នុងភាគមុនក្រុមហ៊ុនបានស្ដាប់ពីតម្រូវការនៃអ្នកជិះសម័យថ្មីហើយពេលនេះនៅការិយាល័យរោងចក្ររបស់ Calypso ផ្ទាល់គ្រប់ផ្នែកគ្រប់គ្រឿងបន្គុំគ្រប់បតបញ្ជាគ្រប់ប្រព័ន្ធសារភ្លើងនិងប្រព័ន្ធឆ្លុយបេះទាំងអស់ត្រូវបានរចនាគុំឡើងនៅផ្ទះសាកល្បងនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជានៅក្នុងរោងចក្រនេះផ្ទាល់ប្រែពីគំនិតជជែកគ្នាទៅជារូបរាងពិតម្ដងបន្តិចក្រុមរចនាបានបំផ្លាញពីការស្រមើស្រមៃទៅជារូបរាងភាពលម្អិតគិតយ៉ាងគ្រប់ជ្រុងជ្រោយពីរបៀបនៃអ្នកជិះភាពច្នៃប្រឌិតក៏ត្រូវតែសម្របតាមតថភាពពិតនៃប្រទេសកម្ពុជាភាពច្នៃប្រឌិតក៏ត្រូវគិតអំពីភាពពិតនៃវិស្វកម្មផងដែរ
So in the last meeting we agreed on the direction of the two new products. We agreed on the kind of aesthetics and mood we will have on the vehicle, what we want to bring as aesthetics and what mood we want to bring to each product. So from this I start making more ideation. And so I was exploring, firstly drawing on paper is something I really like as a designer because it's kind of really intuitive, really expressing the feeling, and that's why I really like about drawing on paper. And so it gives some few ideas of this kind, but then I will switch to my graphic tablets, and this process on the tablet allows to get a better understanding of the shape of how it will look in fact at the end. It allows a more realistic visual. Of the vehicle, and from then with the help of Ravin, the design engineer, he helped me to scan the frame we currently have, so giving me some hard points, what are the technical constraints we have on the vehicle, and it helps me to create a quick 3D model. The 3D model would be something that will allow to see really in space how everything is working. Thanks to the 3D scan, we can see directly how the final product will look. And so it's really useful to start having things more and more close to the reality, and then starting to go on fast prototyping. So I've been working on some parts. So we have mainly the cockpit, which is a huge challenge, but we have also some accessories, as for example our front mudguards that will be common between our two new models, and even small parts like this are kind of real challenges. So I made a 3D model kind of quickly, roughly, to see the first aesthetics, if it matched the kind of sporty feelings we want, firstly as intention on the vehicle, and then 3D model. And luckily here it's really great to have our 3D printing station, so we can directly go into prototyping. It makes a really fast design process. From the first idea to the first prototype, it's a really fast process. And so we have the part here. So this is the first prototype. It's just to validate the volumes, it's to validate the shapes. So we printed it here, and we just have to bring downstairs, ask to the mechanic to put it on. And for this model, it's more about validating the volume, seeing if it's correct in terms of size, in terms of shape, and also on the fixation, seeing if everything will fit. Right now is the first prototype, so the volume are kind of okay, but we really have to think about how it will affect our steering system, if it's not blocking too much our steering angles. And there's also things about the molding that has to be considered. Like if we look at those first shape, we see that some lines are fading a bit too far, and in the molding that will be kind of complex to do, so we have to modify this a bit. And we have to develop also the protection for the rear. It will be a part that is not visible, but in fact really important, because you protect the inside of the scooter, the part which is exposed, where all the mechanic parts are taking part inside. So we made some variation for this example, and we can switch from different model to see the one that will be fitting the best to protect the inside of the vehicle. So this is something which is not visible, but it's some work that has to be done. This is even a small parts like this require kind of a lot of thinking and trying. So this was the first prototype. As I told, I will make the modification. This is made on PET plastic, really fast to print everything, but the next model will be in ABS, and it is like real condition. And so we can put it on the vehicle and go for a test ride. And from then it will be just, if we need prototyping again, we'll see if we need to print new parts, but it will be closer and closer to get the product as efficient on aesthetics, function, and also the making everything optimum for the molding, for the kind of typical reasonable cost. So this is a lot of thinking that we are carrying with the production team and the design engineer. And so it's great. It allows to have a really fast design process doing all those things in the house. So the industrial design is a bit more than just drawings. In fact, it makes a kind of a bridge in between marketing and engineering. So here we agree with the design team, with the marketing team, what is the direction of the project. They make market surveys, understanding the target, and we understood together what are the needs, what are the customer needs, what they can expect and what we can offer. And from that, I'll start my ideation kind of roughly, and kind of quickly with the design engineer we are having in mind the kind of production process to see if everything is working in a mechanical way, if everything is fitting on the basis we already have, and so it's a bit of refinement like this all along, and then carrying it with the production team and our makers of parts, and so yeah, it's being involved in the whole development of the VI. So we have existing model and we have feedback from the customers on those bikes. So this is something quite interesting to work on a local scale, because we can have a kind of close relation to our customers or our resellers, and so the marketing team can understand really the feedback of the people here. And so it's good to understand what people want, and there's all the constraints about the way people using the vehicle here. So really in a utilitarian way, daily trips, with the weather challenges, the road condition challenges. It's all the things that we can adapt for our Cambodian product. It's all the understanding we got from experience, and we can totally implement it into our new project. So we can check that as we have all the department in-house. It's really easy to validate and discuss about things directly here. It's really the really good point of having everything in-house. It's just if we have a question, if I have a question about the new dashboard, I can go ask to the R&D team, or if they have some question about where can we put our StarTech module, I can also show them what are my projects on the 3D model, and so they can think about the positioning. So that's the really key point and really good point of Calypso, is having everything in-house, and so the whole process is happening here and every actor is closely linked. Now, after this part of the process, we will start to be, after this ideation, I would say, and validation on our level, we will start to work on the molding and the real making of the part, the industrialization part, how it will be produced on a large scale. And so this is a work that will be done with our makers of art.
ពេលក្រុមអ្នករចនាធ្វើឲ្យម៉ូតូនេះលេចជារូបរាងឡើងក្រុមស្រាវជ្រាវនិងអភិវឌ្ឍជាអ្នកធ្វើឲ្យម៉ូតូនេះមានជីវិតនៅទីនេះវិស្វករបានអភិវឌ្ឍប្រព័ន្ធឆ្លាតវៃប្រព័ន្ធខ្សែភ្លើងកុងទ័រ Digital Sensor និងរៀបចំរួចជាស្រេចក្នុងការបញ្ចូលទៅក្នុង model ថ្មីចំនួនចុងក្រោយនោះ
Sounds good. So depending because of the previous meeting, each and every department has its own role, and R&D has one of the biggest roles, you could say. So this role is divided into 3 different parts based on the priorities. So our first priority was the wiring harness itself. Why? Because this is the lifeline of a vehicle. Second priority is our dashboard, the smart dashboard, which we've developed in partnership with another company. And the third priority is our SI smart system, which we've developed in-house, and it's a all-inclusive, a smart alert, you could say. So when we started with the wiring harness, we had to make sure that it followed the ISO standards of environmental control, as well as for the connectors as well. So ISO 16750, as well as ISO 262, that's what we had to follow in order to make sure that our wire harness is up to standards. Second thing was the SI Connect. Because we are installing the system as well as a smart dashboard, so there are some EMC currents that comes out of it. So basically what that is just like radiation that comes out of the electronics, which may be harmful for a user over time. So we have to make sure that these radiations are kept to minimum as possible. So, and of course it does not affect the user in any way. we made sure finding the appropriate places and of course providing appropriate casings so that we can shield these radiations as much as possible and of course get them EMC certified. Why? Because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that all our system is ready to tackle the European market and the standards that they ask for. So for the EMC, it is, I think, UNEC R10, regulation number of 10. So it has to follow that particular standard. And because of that, so R&D has to follow all these regulations, you know. So because we have to follow the international standards, as we want to showcase this product at the end of the day in Milan, and we want to showcase this product for the Cambodian market because this is our ground base. That's what R&D has been up to since the last meeting. We have been preparing ourselves for both the Cambodian as well as the European market. The overview process is quite complicated, as I would say. So first we are going in a concept phase. Since the previous meeting, we have to think about what we need to add. So in our case, we are adding our smart dashboard and the SI Connect system. So for that, first we tackle is the connectors. So in this scenario, so this is the dashboard that we developed in partnership with another company. Yeah. So as you can see, this dashboard has 3 connectors. However, this is the original wiring harness, and in this wiring harness, we have only 2 connectors. That is a problem for us. Why? Because as you can see, it is not compatible at all. So first things first, we need to redesign not the dashboard, but our wiring harness. You might ask, okay, why do we want to redesign the wiring harness? Why don't you just redesign the dashboard itself? There's a big reason for it, and this is because we have designed another connector or a module, we could say, and what that module does is it helps the user who's driving the bike to navigate through the dashboard without even lifting a finger. So these are all sorts of buttons over here, and all these buttons are connected to this wiring harness. Yeah, and through that they just communicate, and after they communicate with each other, they can control this dashboard very easily. So that's why that additional connector is there. And all these connectors that we have over here, they adhere to the ISO standards. And that's what we made sure of as well, because we want to make sure that every environmental conditions, and as well as the rugged environment that Cambodia offers, it needs to sustain that environment. Because at the end of the day, since it has to travel a long distance, it needs to be able to withstand all that environmental degradation that it will face later. Yeah. So that was the second process. The third was when we were designing the SI system. So because our SI system has, the second most important system that we have is the SI Connect system. Yeah, this is our smart dashboard. Sorry, not a smart, this is our SI smart system, which basically detects where you are and checks for all the alerts, maybe you're in an accident or something like that. So this system takes care of you when you can't take care of yourself. Yeah. So as you can see, developing this in-house was our biggest challenge, and of course, making sure that this is compatible with the bike is also biggest challenge. Why? Because we have to make sure it is seamlessly integrated with the bike and it does not cause any user discomfort as well. Yeah. So after identifying each and every points, each and every connection, for example, we have to manually test the horns, the lights, the ignition, the engine as well when it's starting, how it stops. We had to completely open the wiring harness to check each and every entry points, and then later redesigning the harness as well as redesigning the schematic. After we did all of that, we were able to come up with this connector here. Yeah, and this connector is not your ordinary 50-cent connector. It's a $6 connector, and it's a branded waterproof JAE, which is a big standard in the automotive industry. And we use those connectors over here because this system requires that standard. Otherwise, in terms of rains, especially in Cambodia where there are floods all over, this system will withstand those sort of weather conditions. Of course, we completely provide you sealed, it's completely in a sealed environment, but we don't want to take any chances. That's why a lot of R&D went into this product, as well as into the wire harness, because we want to make sure that you are always connected to our smart system, which of course in case of accidents can always be helpful to you. Yeah, so this is what our most of the progress was like. So the dashboard that we initially came up with was a completely analog dashboard. It has very simple, this is speedometer, no diagnostics like your odometer ratings and whatnot. But we wanted more. We wanted for the user to be able to connect their phones with it. We wanted the user to be seamlessly just navigate through the dashboard panels and connect what they want. They want to listen to music, they can listen to music. They want to navigate through Google Maps, they can do that as well. But this dashboard that we initially chose does not offer that. And of course, because it's a limited capability dashboard, it has only two connectors over there. One for speed and one for normal diagnostics for RPM and whatnot, which is kind of pointless. And of course, it has like turn signals and whatnot. However, any dashboard on the market, they are extremely simple, and that's why they have this sort of like a very simple mechanism for the dashboard. So what we wanted is innovation. So what R&D came up with is this dashboard over here, which is a very smart dashboard. Why I call it smart over and over is because this dashboard offers you the capability to connect your phone. Yeah, you can use Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, as well as use screen mirroring like feature. Yeah, you can use Google Maps, you can call someone while you're riding the bike. It offers you all those features. And of course, it has touch panel as well. Yeah, and of course, getting something like this comes with its own complexity. That is the three connectors. Yeah, one again simple for speed, another one for some turn signals, some brakes, whatnot. Yeah, but what we are looking for an external one is that the usage or the controlling from the user hand. So what we ended up doing, we designed our own connector over here, and this connector this component over here, and this component you can easily use it, navigate through these buttons, and these buttons thus connect to this dashboard, and you can navigate through the number of pages. You can choose who to call, who to connect. You don't even have to lift your finger. It's that easy. So this is what we are doing right now, and this is what R&D has done in the past regarding the dashboard integration. We have made it happen, and as you can see from these videos that we have done already. So right now R&D department is working actively to get the EMC certification that we actively require. Yeah, why we require this EMC certification is because we want to get our smart dashboard as well as our smart system, the SI smart system, both EMC certified. Why this is important is because European markets, they would not allow our product in their market without getting our system EMC certified. And of course, we need to make sure all our system is all ISO standards and everything is standardized as well. This is the future. This is the work that needs to be done in the future, and we are actively making sure that each and every connector, each and every wire that we're using, everything is according to the ISO standard that we have to follow eventually. That's what we have to do.
អ្វីដែលពួកគាត់ធ្វើនេះមិនមែនគ្រាន់តែជាការចាប់ផ្គុំដាក់ចូលគ្នាទេតែជាការធ្វើឲ្យគ្រប់ប្រព័ន្ធនៃម៉ូតូដំណើរការស្របគ្នានេះហើយជាអ្វីដែលអ្នកស្រាវជ្រាវនិងអភិវឌ្ឍនៃ Calypso ធ្វើបានល្អបំផុតរាល់គំនិតគ្រប់ការអភិវឌ្ឍដំណោះស្រាយទាំងអស់ត្រូវបានធ្វើឡើងនៅ Calypso នៅកម្ពុជាដោយស្នាដៃកូនខ្មែរយើងឧបករណ៍ដែលច្នៃបង្កើតដោយខ្លួនឯងស្តង់ដារអន្តរជាតិនិងត្រៀមបញ្ចេញទៅឆាកអន្តរជាតិ